Well, hey, I'm HalfDeafRen, and I'm going to show you noobs and Ironmen out there how to get a fire cape without crazy gear or an inventory full of brews. If you watch this whole guide, I promise you can get your fire cape and make it through the caves without taking a ton of damage. Before we start, please drop a like and a subscribe. I am a new content creator with a current goal of hitting 250 subscribers. For level recommendations, I'm going to suggest you have 70 range, 50 plus defense, and at least 43 prayer. But the only true requirement is 43 prayer. It'll be harder with lower levels and easier with higher levels, but it's doable either way. Let's talk about gear, and keep in mind this is a guide for Ironmen and noobs, so nothing crazy here. Simply bring the best range gear you have. For your weapon, a rune crossbow with broad bolts are better, or a magic short bow, preferably imbued with rune arrows, are good options. If you have a blowpipe, bring it, but if you're watching this guide, you probably don't have one. For armor, black D-hide is solid, but you can get away with lower tiers of D-hide as well, since I'm going to show you how to navigate the caves without taking much damage. For your helm slot, I highly recommend an archer helm that you can get after completing the Fremnik Trials quest. A helm of Nietzschenaut is also solid, but if you don't have either, just go with the best helm you have. In the cape slot, Ava's device. Just bring an Ava's device unless for some reason your weapon choice doesn't need it. Shield slot is simple. Bring the tankiest shield you have or a god book for the prayer bonus. I personally prefer the god book. If your prayer level is low, go god book. If your defense level is garbage, then another tanky shield may be a better option. For the gloves slot, Barrow's gloves is ideal, but if you don't have those, just bring the best Vam braces you have. I personally went with green Vams. For boots, I'd recommend crafting some snakeskin boots or getting the Shazian Boots 5, but if you don't have either of these, just grab the best defense bonus boots you own. In the ring slot, an archer's ring would be great, but if you're an Iron Man without one, the explorer's ring from the Lumbridge Diaries gives a prayer bonus, or you can always just slap on a ring of recoil. For the amulet slot, just grab the best one you have. For me, that was an amulet of power. This is the gear setup I personally went with to achieve my fire cape. For your inventory, I'd recommend starting with 16 prayer potions, a diamond e-bolt switch if you're using a rune crossbow, one range pot, and the best food you have. If you can bring a single brew and a single restore replacing a couple prayer pots, that is great. If you don't have a single brew, I'd recommend a super defense potion. When you attempt the caves and die, you may find you need more food or more prayer pots. You can adjust your inventory as needed. If your defense is low, you may want to bring some tank legs. Before we hop into the caves, let's get familiar with the monsters you'll encounter. First, you have the level 22 Bat. These guys have 10 HP and will drain your prayer every time they hit you, so the name of the game is keep your distance and take care of them quick. Next, you have the Blob. These guys hit with melee and don't hit very hard. Once you defeat the Blob, it splits into two mini blobs you'll want to take care of. Then we have the level 90 Ranger. This guy hits consistently, so you want to have protect from range up and knock him out as fast as possible. Next, you'll encounter the Meleeer. These guys can hit hard, but they are super easy to safe spot. Finally, you have the Major. These guys hit very hard, and depending on your hit points level, may be able to one or two shot you, so you want to protect a mage at all times when these guys are in range. The key to getting through the caves without taking much damage is in rotation scouting. If you Google OSRS fight cave rotations, you'll find this page of the wiki. There are only 15 rotations of the fight caves, meaning in each rotation, the monsters always spawn in the same places. If you know what rotation you're in, you can know not only which monsters are spawning next, but where they will spawn, and this is key to not taking damage. These rotations change dependent on the time of day. Jad will spawn where the blob spawns on wave 3, and you are going to want a southeast Jad spawn. This means you want to hop into rotation 2, 5, or 6. I personally prefer rotation 2. So when the time comes, hop into the caves and check where the first 3 wave monsters spawn to ensure it correlates with the proper rotation. I have had the map timing be wrong before, so you want to make sure you are actually in rotation 2. So you hop in, first wave bat should spawn in the center. He's there. Second wave, we should have enemies spawning at south and southeast. Yup. And third wave, the blob should spawn in the southeast. Yup. Now we know for sure we're in rotation 2, and we can click our rotation 2 map to navigate the caves. Reading the rotation map is easy. The number up top here is the wave. The map is oriented to the north, and the numbers in the middle refer to the monster's levels. So for example, wave 58 has every enemy, 22 means bat, 45 means blob, 90 is the ranger, 180 is the meleeer, and 360 is the major. Before explaining how you can use the rotation map to prevent taking damage, you need to know your safe spots and drag mechanics. You'll almost always be starting your waves in the northeast corner next to the fight cave's entrance. When you stand in this corner, monsters that spawn on the northwest get trapped behind this rock, and monsters that spawn in the south or southeast get trapped behind Italy rock. You want to wait here and drag the majors and rangers to you so you don't come out into the open pulling trapped monsters out of their safe spots. Hugging the wall on the southwest side will trap monsters here, as well as trap anything that spawns on the north side of this wall. Standing north of the west rock traps anything that spawns southwest, but does not trap monsters coming in from over here. Hugging the south side of Italy rock safe spots monsters trying to come straight in, and standing on the west side of Italy rock or the boot will safe spot monsters on the north and south, and you'll definitely use this spot when you need to evade meleeers like this. Now that you know how to use your rotation map, you're ready to hop into the fight caves. Let's talk about the waves. Waves 1 through 6 are just bats and blobs, super easy, just kill everything quickly. Wave 7, you get the ranger for the first time, so put protect from range up and be prepared for a ranger in every wave from 7 to 14. Wave 15, you get the meleeer for the first time. Waves 15 through 21, you want to use your rotation map to safe spot all the enemies, no protection prayers needed. For example, wave 20, I would personally use the safe spot south of Italy rock. I would knock out this bat as fast as possible, and then the meleeer, blob, and probably even this bat will all be safe spotted. Starting at wave 22, you have the ranger and melee at the same time, so use the rotation map to determine your best starting position and be ready to protect from range. Wave 30 has 2 meleeers, just safe spot south of Italy rock. Starting at wave 31, you have the major, just throw protect from mage on. Starting wave 38 to 45 is when you have the ranger and major at the same time. This is truly where the rotation map really comes in handy. You'll almost always want to start each wave in that northeast corner to safe spot and properly stack monsters. Waves 46 through 52, you have the major and meleeer at the same time. Sometimes the northeast corner isn't the best place to start, like on wave 49. On this wave, if you start in the northeast corner, the major and meleeer both would be on you, so instead, start by hugging the southwest safe spot. Have protect from mage on, take out the ranger, and then your meleeer will be safe spotted. AKA always be using the rotation map and planning your next move. Waves 53 through 60 are the hardest waves because you have the major, meleeer, and ranger along with other monsters to deal with. Use the map, take on one monster at a time, and you'll make it through. Waves 61 and 62 are free. On wave 62, you have double majors, and the orange major is where Jad will spawn on wave 63. Now, super quick, before we talk about the Jad fight, let's go over something that will drastically improve your life in the fight caves: prayer flicking. If you're someone who can comfortably one-tick prayer flick, you're a king, and please teach me how to do it. But if you're a noob like me, let me introduce you to the lazy flick method. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this takes a little practice, but if you can learn how to do this in the fight caves, prayer won't be an issue for you, and you can bring more yummy food in your inventory. Lazy flicking works by turning your prayer off right after the enemy has attacked and turning it back on right before they attack again. It's a timing thing, and I suggest speaking out loud, off, on for a while before giving it a shot. For example, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on. The ranger has a faster attack speed than the major, but messing up on the major can lead to major damage, so take it slow and keep in mind that practice makes better. You want to save your food for emergencies and the Jad fight as much as possible, so if you've taken a lot of damage, go safe spot yourself in a corner, throw on a YouTube video, and let yourself heal. It's annoying and it can take forever, but this is the key to making sure you have enough supplies for the Jad fight. You don't want to make it all the way to wave 63 and die because you've run out of food and you can't tank the healers. When you get to Jad, the Jad hands and shakes are a real thing. Not to worry, we'll get you through it. First things first, you gotta focus on praying correctly at all times. Throw protect from range up immediately. If Jad rears up on his hind legs and dangles for a second, switch to protect from mage. If Jad stomps his feet, it's a range attack. The easiest way to handle this is just to keep Protect from Range on, and when you see the dangly legs, swap to Protect from Mage, and once the attack is incoming, swap back to Protect from Range. This way all you're really waiting for is dangly legs. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about preparing for the fight. Right before finishing wave 62, you want to heal up. If you brought a Ceradomin brew and restore, drink a dose of brew to overheal and get a defense bonus, drink the restore, and then drink a sip of ranging potion in that order. If you don't have a brew, drink your super defense potion if applicable and your ranging pot. If you have a Diamond E bolt switch, pop those on. Then you can finish off the major, throw Protect from Range up, and start the Jad fight. The first half of the Jad fight is easy, just pray correctly. But once you get Jad down to half health, 4 healers will spawn, and this is where it gets hairy. You'll have a plan A, B, and C for the Jad fight. Plan A, you'll want to tag all 4 healers before they heal Jad back to full health. Focus on praying correctly against Jad first and foremost, then tag a healer, pray, tag a healer, and so on. If you tag all the healers before they heal Jad to full health, you're home free because you can run north of Italy Rock, safe spot Jad, throw on Protect from Melee, and kill all the healers. Then go back out and finish off Jad. Plan B, you tag all the healers, but they end up healing Jad to full health. Now you can't kill them because they'll just respawn. So you want to kite them in a line to where only one is attacking you and try and kill Jad as fast as possible. If you have low defense, this is challenging because the healers hit pretty hard. If you brought a pair of tank legs, this is where you throw those bad boys on. Maybe throw on Eagle Eye to try and increase DPS against Jad, and you want to make sure you're praying correctly against Jad's attacks before healing from damage. Setting up your F keys to easily hop between your inventory and prayer screen is definitely recommended. Plan C. If it looks like the healers are going to kill you before you can kill Jad, it's time for the Hail Mary. Wait until Jad starts a ranged or mage attack, pray correctly against it, and when you see the attack animation start to come at you, swap to Protect from Melee and run through Jad to the other side. If you do this correctly, the healers are stuck behind Jad, but are still aggressive to you, so now you can just focus on Jad and you're home free. But if you do it wrong, you'll probably die, so let's go for plan A. After beating Jad, you got your fire cape. Congrats, congrats! I've got 3 really valuable bonus tips for you before you click off. Check those out. Bonus tip number 1, you can practice the Jad fight by going to the quest speedrunning world and loading up a Beneath Cursed Sand speedrun. I'm not going to go crazy into this, you can look up a guide on how to do this, but essentially you can practice on Jad before you ever get there. This is incredibly useful to get some practice in on your prayer switches, tagging the healers without dying, and just in general building some confidence so you aren't a total shaky leaf when you fight Jad. JK, you're gonna be a shaky leaf when fighting Jad no matter what. Bonus tip number 2, no one wants to be lagging in the fight caves, especially if you're trying to prayer flick, so ideally you want to be on a world with 50 ping or less. Or if like me you don't live close to a server, you just want to find the world with the lowest ping possible. There's 2 ways to do this. If you use RuneLite, you can download the Ping Grapher plugin and hop worlds until you find one with low ping. Or you can open up the command prompt on your PC and type ping space old school, the world number -300. So if we're checking world 306, we would type ping space old school 6.runescape.com, then press enter. Here we see our minimum, maximum, and average ping. If you're someone who experiences lag, hope this bonus tip helps. Bonus tip number 3, you can log out of the fight caves and hop back where you left off. If you press log out once, the fight caves will pause after the current wave is completed, and you can log off at that time. Hey, if you've made it to the end, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, like and subscribe and click the recommended video to see how I got my fire cape after many attempts. Till next time.